Dear students, hope you all are doing very well. So once again, welcome to our online classes. So as you know, we were going through the unit 6 from your EFT book. So on the sequence of the online classes, today we will go through a new lesson. Though we have already gone through so many lessons, and some of the lessons from unit 6, but I have left behind the lesson number 2 from unit 6, and today it's time for that lesson 2. Okay, so before starting the class, let me tell you one thing, that see, I always inspire you to do the better. Okay, uh, I always tell you to not to be so centered about the exam. That means your learning should not be just centered around your coming exam. Life is not all about getting the marks, highest position, or about performing well in the exam. Sometimes it's something different from that. Okay, so the classes that we will go through, or the classes we will have in the coming days, remember one thing, that our main duty is to learn, our main duty is to acquire the knowledge, our main duty is to acquire the acquire the betterment. So we will not be too much worried about the exam and its marks. Okay babies, if you are concentrated enough to your lesson, what lesson it is doesn't matter. If you are attentive to your study or attentive to your lesson, I think acquiring marks is not an easy, it's not that of difficult task for you, it's quite easier for you. Okay, so I know you are quite capable, and you are very expert in writing, as I saw earlier in the classes. So I hope you won't face any such complicated issues while we will go through the chapters. Okay, so today we will read a poem, and it is of course from your lesson number it was lesson unit 6, and it is lesson 6. So here I have I have amalgamated the two poems all together. That's why I earlier mentioned the lesson number 2, but actually it is lesson number 6. So from which unit? It is unit number 6. So the name of the poem is from a railway carriage. So I would like to ask you to have your own English for Today book with you, so that you can, when Miss will go through the poem, and you can just indicate it line by line. Okay, so the name of the poem is From a Railway Carriage, and it is written by Louis Stevenson. That is Robert Louis Stevenson. So I am giving you a minute to have your own books at your hand, and before starting the poem, let us go through some of the new words. The words that are already mentioned in the poem, and you can see there are some of the new words at the very last part of the page. See, it is at task number B. There are some of the words, as these are already mentioned here, so I think I don't need to mention it again on the board. So I would like to introduce the rest of the words that are not mentioned, these are not given with the synonyms, but yes, these are given in the poem. Okay, so please have your book with you, and let us go through the board first. Can you see the board? Okay, please have a look on the board, that the name of the poem is From a Railway Carriage. From a railway carriage. See, the very first word is what? The key word here, carriage. Carriage means a wheeled vehicle, or a railway passenger coach or bogie. Troop means army. See, basically troop means a group of people who will who perform in a battlefield. Okay, so as we know that army is also called troop. So troop means here a group of people. It can be from any force oriented organization like army, navy, or air force, etc. So troop means a group of people. That means a gang. We can say it's a gang. Then it is battle. What is battle? It is battle. Battle means conflict, clash, fighting, or warfare. So fighting is actually very well known, very common word. So rather, I mean, instead of fighting, you can also write conflict or clash or warfare. Okay. Then say meadow. What is it? It is meadow. Meadow means a patch of grassland. Okay. Then seal lamber. It is clamber. Clamber means climb or move in an awkward way. That means in an odd way, in a special way, or in a different way. Okay. So the next one is also very similar to the clamber. Scramble. Scramble means to move or climb quickly, but with difficulty. Okay. So let us go through again with the words that carriage. Carriage means a wheeled vehicle or a railway passenger coach or bogie. In a word, you can write it's bogie. Troop means army or group or gang. Battle means conflict, clash, fighting, or warfare. Anyone that you can write or you would like to write. Then meadow. It is meadow. Meadow means a patch of grassland. Okay. Then clamber. Clamber means climb or move in an awkward way. Scramble. Scramble to move or climb quickly but with difficulty. So these were the some of the words. These are not actually given with the synonyms on the page, but Miss already have mentioned this words so that you can have the you can know the actual meaning of the words, so that you won't face the difficulty when we will go through the poem together. Okay, babies. So, okay, I think we are done with the words, and some of the words are given and some of the words are already well known to you, and you are quite familiar with the words. So, I am not giving the words on the board. So, let us go through the poem. So, the name of the poem is what? From a railway carriage. Please have your book with hand so that we won't face any difficulty when we will read the poem out. So the name of the poet, that means the writer of this beautiful poem, is Robert Louis Stevenson. See, the name of the poet is given at the very last corner of the poem. Okay. Before reading the poem, set in your mind that it's a very beautiful and a very easy poem, yet very exciting also. So from a railway carriage, faster than ferries, faster than bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle. So, say, every 4 or 5 lines make a stanza. Okay? In Bengali, we can say it's the stop. Okay? That means every... So, here from this stanza, we can sense that here the poet shares his experience. Okay? Its speed is actually very slow. So here the poet actually shares his experience, and he's saying that the speed of see, the poem is about a train journey, of course, and the poet here shares what the experiences he could sense while while in the while he was traveling by train, and from, of course, a bogie of the train. So here he shares the experience, and he's saying that the speed of the train was so amazing. It was so faster that it could leave behind the witches also. What is witches? Witches are the supernatural powers, okay, like the ghost or the gothic feelings. And then he's saying that he could sense the bridges, houses were running after the train, it seems like that. So he's saying that he saw the horses and the cattle were grazing in a troop, that means in a group, and they were grazing like they are in any battlefield. And he could sense the buildings, hedges, houses, ditches, and this all are that seemed like they all are running behind with the train. So the next stranger is all of the sides of the hill and the plain fly as thick as driving rain, and ever again in the wink of an eye painted stations whistle by. What can we understand from this stranger? Here the poet is saying that he enjoyed the hill and the plain that was crossing, that were being crossed by the train, okay. So again and again, in a very short moment, the train was crossing the stations, and with, of course, a whistle, with the sound of the whistle, and the buildings that were that can be seen from the window of the train, those were that looked like some painted pictures, okay, as if the buildings were not the buildings, and actually it's a scenery that was painted by any painter. So here he shares that the hill and the plain were being crossed by the rain as quick as the, how they were passing so fast that as a drop of the rain, follows the another drop of the rain in a storm. It is so quick, so faster. So the next stranger is, here is a child who clambers and scrambles all by himself and gathering brambles. Here is a tramp who stands and gazes, and here is the grain for steering cases. Okay. So he also sees a child who was climbing, and of course a steep ground by himself. At the same time, the child was actually gathering the blackberries. What is blackberries? See here, blackberries, that you are understanding in a sense that the BlackBerry, it's not a name of any brand or any branded mobile phone, okay. It's actually the name of fruit here, blackberry. So not the all the apples or the blackberries meant to be the electronic devices, okay, what actually we like to sell nowadays. Okay, jokes apart, actually here blackberries is the very common fruit. So the child was actually gathering the blackberries all alone himself. He says here actually the poet also sees a homeless person who was looking at the train with such amusement, or the amazement. Okay, so he also saw some of the ladies were making the garlands of flower. What is the flower? It was daisy. They were making the garland of daisy flowers. Okay. So the next, that means the last stranger is, here is a cart run away in the road, lumping along with man and load. And here is a mill, and there is a river, each a glimpse and gone forever. So from the last stranger, we can sense that he also sees a cart. What is cart? Cart means a wheeled vehicle that's that's driven by any four-footed animal, okay, that is usually known as the carriage or cart. So he could see a cart was moving slowly in the middle of the road, and with a full load, okay, and that means the cart was carrying with full load, and the driver of the cart was actually sitting in the middle of the load, on the top of the load. And here is he also saw water mill and river and the very at last he's saying that actually he sees a lot of things, but all these things are, I mean, all these things vanished in a moment. In no minutes, all the things disappeared before his eyes. I mean, from in front of his eyes. What does this poem mean? Here, actually, Robert Stevenson, that means our poet, is narrating or describing a railway journey, I mean, a train journey, and he was sitting if in the bogie, and from the bogie he enjoyed the scenery that was experienced by him while he was uh, in that journey. So at the very first listen, every 4 or 5 lines will make a stranger. In Bengali কবিতাতে যেটা আমরা বলি স্থবক, কয়েকটা চরণ মিলে যে স্থবক হয়, তো in the English poetry, here the some of the lines make a stranger. In the first stranger, at the very first at the very beginning, we could sense that he is actually sharing the experience of a train journey, and the sceneries that he could see from the window of the train. Okay, so what did he see? He saw a lot of things, that he could see the buildings, ditches, and then he could see the cattle and horses were grazing in a troop or group. Then some of the women were making the garlands, and they were laughing, they were talking to each other. Then a homeless person who was looking at the train with such amusement. A boy also, there was a description of a boy, that the boy was climbing, of course, with scramble and clamber, and he was actually gathering the blackberries. He also saw Mills river, but all these beautiful things disappeared in no minute. That means the sceneries were so beautiful that he couldn't sense that where the time already left out. Okay, so I mean, the time was flying so fast. Even the journey was the journey was so faster that it could leave behind, or it could defeat the speed of the witches also. So that was the poem. So now I would like to give you a very easy task for you, that please go through the poem and try to write down the theme of the poem, and let me inform, I mean, so that I can check the theme out. Okay, so that's the very easy homework for you. Hope we will meet very soon on the next class. Till then, stay well and take care.